On this week's edition of Just a Walk, thanks, we go through the US political update, touch on P. Diddy, look at the early stallions, Ole Kirk off to a flyer, go through the history of the Caulfield Guineas, and we read the race up ahead on Saturday, plus the Toorak, touch on Mr. Brightside, looked at some other stuff. Hope you really enjoy it. Here it is. G'day and welcome to Just a Walk, thanks, episode 15. On this week's episode, we're going to look at the All-Star Mile and the Everest becoming a Group 1, Trump, Diddy, Beyonce, Ole Kirk, Extreme Choice, Mailbag Bloodstock, the Toorak, the Guineas, mental health officers, and Butch and Rob are on that. They've got a date locked in for next week. Boys, how are we? We'll start with you, Jonathan. Been a nice week.
Yeah, it's been a very good week. Kicked off. Should we go straight into it with our horses, or should I
just more on a personal level?
Yeah, no.
How's CrossFit? What sort of supplements are you taking to sustain the training regime that you're putting yourself under? And how far away are you from having kids?
Well, yeah, okay. I skipped their 45 last Friday because we had a runner. Would have been in the middle of the class, so. Fortunately, got to watch Alicia Roma sit 3 wide on speed in her first up run and missed her 45 for it. What was the other question? Kids? Yeah.
Speaking of kids, both these blokes have beautiful kids and they've done a great job with each and every one of them. We'll start with you, Roberto Scuzdog. One of the great days all time yesterday. Units out, units in. Big day. Full credit to my man. How you going?
Traveling well, mate. Doesn't take long, to get your tail up one good day. If you feel like you're the king. It can always be better. I think it was 6 out, 17 back, something like that. But yeah, I was most pleased with getting the two-year-olds last week in the Jim Crack and the other one, the breeders. So that was good. Full credit, Butch, tipping Ole Kirk. Sorry, bit of a spoiler, but yeah, going well. Kids back at school on Monday, so been a good holiday, but looking forward to them getting back to school.
And the most recent retiree from the racing industry, Butch Bourne, great man. How have you been? Highlights, lowlights from the week that's been, or 2 weeks since we've recorded?
Just a little bit premature on the retirement, mate. I've got a runner at Seymour Sunday, and I've got one next week. So we're getting maybe 2 to 3 runners left, but pending not training racehorses anymore. You don't have to use the word retirement. I'm now launching into becoming a bloodstock expert.
Officially.
Yeah, well, that's how I look at it. The rest of the industry might look a bit different than that, but which I'm we've got a sale of a property which the kids grew up on. So you mentioned the kids before, and don't know whether they've still got any ties to the place, but they don't seem to come back home that often, so I'd say not. But anyway, new phase of the life. Excited. Joined you out at Moonee Valley last Friday night, which was great. Met a couple of the boys out there, which entertained us for a little while, and they had a winner. And so no, it's good. It's something I'm really looking forward to. Besides meeting up with Rob next Wednesday,
we met some good people on Friday night at Moonee Valley, including Howard Beer, former senior detective, senior sergeant, something like that. How long have you known him, Butch? He was extraordinary value.
Howard, yes.
How'd you get to meet him? Was you on the wrong side of him at one point in time, maybe?
Don't remember that part, but no. He was involved in the racing industry through point to pointing. That was his passion. But we shared a mate called Waxy Pearce, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of people that remember Waxy. He was one of life's great characters, and doesn't matter, how the day went. You were assured of finishing off with a flurry if Waxy was involved, and many a fun times. But no, great days. I'm talking. I'm going back probably through the 90s there. But Howard finds himself as I think he's like racecourse detective or something these days. Seeing that I have no reason to be crossing paths with Howard besides socially, no, it was good to catch up. And I think you were stuck in the middle of a few old stories, weren't you?
Yeah, doing my best to try and keep up like I normally am when I'm around you. Says hello to every single person that walks past him. Bit of a celebrity on track, our man Butch. We met some of our more passionate owners there Friday night. Chaz, who'd been in the Hall of Fame at Mailbag Bloodstock for ownership, a great man and a very, very loyal owner. Jimbo, Sisty, a bunch of others. Any highlights, takeaways, analysis on character?
I thought I was quite the expert on weather, but Jimbo he gave me he ramped it up a bit. He's got it all over me when it comes to weather patterns and radars and yeah. Mind you, I didn't envy where was he driving from Moonee Valley back to Maffra?
Maffra.
Oh goodness me, yeah. That's a long journey on a Friday night in the lightning storms, which was a shame because the Genius was just about to load up in the gates and give you the running double when they haul them back in again. But 2024, we have to conform with policies of all sorts, and that was one of them.
Rob, what do you think Lazy Susan's win Friday night? It's a nice ride, wasn't it?
She's a darling horse, just a real trier. She just summed it up so well, Celine. They pinged, there looked like pressure there. She went bang, she just eased it out, and the horse just very tractable. It just got in that 1-1, and from about the sort of 800 meters out, I thought this is winning. And yeah, she just in the last 100, she just really tries, and what a genuine good horse, and full credit Gab. She's flying, got the keys to her.
Jono, what's that take her earnings to? We paid 50 for her, I think. A little capitalist horse.
As you've just put on your big cowboy hat.
Jimbo got me. Just wanted to know I'm wearing it. Thank you very much, Jimbo.
It's
cowboy hat and a rain gauge.
Audio only, this podcast, but 100.
I thought you'd reference it. Got me a rain gauge because I got to take care of the front paddock and the back paddock here on the property. Got the 100. So far, they're going pretty good.
165,000 in prize money she's collected. Good to get a win with her at the Valley. She's had some pretty good runs there, so certainly going well.
And obviously, it's very disappointing that the Genius wasn't able to run around. He was so close to jumping. He was literally behind the barriers. Maybe there's a couple even in them. He will head to what potentially looms as a Mailbag Bloodstock doubleheader Friday week at Maui. The Everest has been announced as a Group 1, and just to keep things sweet, kind of like parenting, I guess, Rob, Butch. If you're going to give it to one, you've got to give it to the other. The All-Star Mile's been granted Group 1 status as well. What does that all mean from a Bloodstock point of view, Butch? Because I'd assume, essentially, that was already sort of factored into the price for, a filly or a mare that's performed at that level, or a colt that had won that race.
Yeah, well, retrospectively, when they look back at, say, a stallion at stud now, yes. I'm sorry, but I know we can't see it. We're on the audio here, but that hat, mate, seriously.
Got a feather.
I can see the feather. Yeah. Okay.
I'm wearing it at Maui.
Sorry?
I'll be wearing it at Maui Friday week.
So retrospectively, say with a stallion like Yes, he goes to stud, but he's actually not a Group 1 winner. So now that the Everest is Group 1, and of course, it's Racing Australia, so it's not Racing New South Wales or Racing Victoria. So they've just gone across the board, and they've put group status amongst a whole heap of races. Jono, I think like the Quokka, they've given them some sort of group status, haven't they? Those races.
I didn't actually see that. I only saw the headline with the Everest and the All-Star Mile, but
Yeah, they went right through the. You can look that up, John, while we're doing this. But they went right through it, and I think the All Star Mile and the Everest, rightly so, got Group 1 status, because if you retrospectively look at the form, Jack, that would back up Group 1 for those two events, wouldn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Does it have a tangible effect on the price or the value of a colt stallion like Yes, Yes, Yes? The change,
Well,
or is it
well,
sort of
well,
already factored to it all?
yeah, well, you can't. It's like, yeah, his journey's sort of, he's heading down the road on his journey now. So when you're launching a stallion, trying to get the mares to him, that's the important part, to have it, no doubt. There's an insatiable need via the yearling sales, buying colts, as you know, to target Group 1s. So you can see what value the industry place on promoting stallions that are Group 1 winners. So.
Do we
Yeah.
think Yulong and Kieran knew this was coming, or just got lucky?
I don't think it would have changed. I think, Kieran has, Yulong's history is not long enough for us to know, but Kieran's always been aggressive to chase, those Group 1 races. And, at the moment, his figures are obviously very good via those, So, no, I think it was always, well, what's it, 20 million now, the Everest?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
2.5 the All Star.
Very.
But it's a complicated payout system because slot holders have different,
Yes.
deals done.
Yeah.
So the 20 million doesn't necessarily go
Yeah.
to the winning connections. It might, they might get their cut of 10 million, or
Those two were the only ones that are confirmed, All Star and Everest. There's reports that the Shorts, the Premier, the Russell Balding, and the Golden Eagle will go to Group 1 status. But at this stage, it's just those two.
Has anything been relegated? If something gets elevated, something needs to be relegated. Otherwise, it's a bit of a farce, in my opinion. Like, look at the English Premier League. Look at the Langton's wine classification. Something up, something needs to go down.
I can't see that anything's been moved.
I highly doubt it will be.
Jono, did I read correctly? It's now 76 Group 1s. Is that right?
80, it would. Yes, it is 76, and it would be 80 if those four I mentioned go to Group 1, which is the rumour.
Okay, right. Okay, yeah.
2 a week, just about.
Yeah. Now, Rob does have a point, because I think without naming the races to create controversy, I think, it's very easy to read a race that's sort of waning from its group status, whether it be Group 1, 2, or 3. Rob.
100%. Any of those 3-year-old 2,000 meter plus races should not be Group 1, in my opinion.
Yeah, we weren't going to name them, but that's okay.
Across the whole board, every one of them.
No, understood. Yeah, sure. That's
the Levin Classic in New Zealand lost its Group 1 status. That was Quintessa won that, which was interesting. She went over and won a decent race in Australia, but then the race still lost its Group 1 status this year. So I guess they look at them all, right?
Yeah. Should we stay on Bloodstock, or should we attack the American political space and the P Diddy zone?
Let him have his moment.
P Diddy, Rob. The plot thickens. The noise gets louder. Beyonce, Jay-Z, Kanye. Where's it start? Where's it stop, mate?
Look, he's been moved into isolation. As far as I'm concerned, the cameras are just about to commit suicide. The guards will be asleep. He will not see open court. But it's all pretty much the same. That I've watched a few YouTube things. There's nothing really new on it, other than it's a lot of speculation. And all we know is that his house has been raided, and like the Jeffrey Epstein stuff, that's to protect the people on the videos, as opposed to get to justice for the victims.
What do you think? What do you think the scope is for, people to do things like that. If someone was going to attack P. Diddy and, like, where do you go to the dark web? How do you find out these people?
What is the dark web?
Well, you stay away from the dark web. There's stuff that you can, you'll never forget images. So yeah, not that I've ever been involved with that stuff for browsers in the business. But what are you saying? How do you get justice against? Who do you tell? I don't know, because as far as I'm concerned, it's not just P. Diddy. It's the people above him that he was recording for, and these are the people that will never see justice.
Are these people that are taking pot shots at Trumpy, are they hired, or are they just randoms having a crack at him?
Good question. The first guy at Butler, he looks like some sort of MK Ultra sort of program person. And then the other guy that was like, Caddyshack on the golf course, he's a real wacko nut job. He's trying to recruit for Ukraine army. Yeah, he's got kind of CIA kind of all over him, that bloke. But so whether he's still in contact with them, I don't know. But yeah, they're both very, very suspect shooters, and I don't think we'll see the end of it until November. I've had something on JD Vance just in the case that Trump gets knocked, but he's in the favourite as tipped a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the show. It was like $1.85, $2.15. Now it's flipped. Trump's favourite. Kamala can't keep a foot out of her mouth.
Have they got to Diddy yet?
No, we're just sorting out who's going to do the job on him, and where would you actually go, Gano, to find someone to knock him off? Like, what's your sources there? The dark web, or
I'd just go. You'd just be there'd be a few of them in one of those 3-letter organisations, Butch, that would take care of it.
I reckon I can find one of the track of a morning.
I love how Butch was anxious about potting one of the 80 group ones in Australia to knock back to a group 2, but we're happy to talk about the dark web to find a hitman.
Yeah, this is a racing industry podcast, Jack. We can't we can't cross the line. Anyway,
why has Trump gone into favoritism, Rob? In your opinion, what's changed?
Oh no, just Kamala. Every time she speaks, she stuffs up. She just looks worse and worse and worse. She needs a teleprompter, whereas Trump, he can just waffle on and lie just without thinking, and he adapts. I know he's not as sharp as he was in 2016, 2020, but Kamala's she's like a marionette, and when the string breaks, she can't handle it. She needs a teleprompter. Or she can't go off script, basically.
We'll keep you updated as it unfolds week to week, fortnight to fortnight. The US presidential election, plus anything we can.
Not long left now. 3 weeks
on P. Diddy. Next Wednesday, Warwick Farm. Butch takes a horse to race. My mail is that Gano's going to walk the track, maybe Butch. But obviously, Rob will have the final say on everything because it's his home ground. There's also been a rumour circulating, Butch, that this might all be sort of a setup for you to head up to New South Wales to do a job interview to take over as the mental health officer up there. Is there any truth to that? And how much strength do you think your performance as the mental health officer in Victoria through the mid to late 90s will have on that?
Well, thanks for asking, Jack, because it is a long time ago, but I did attend a seminar for mental health in Racing Victoria at one stage, and I think because I had a puffer jacket that actually no, it was a puffer vest with welfare officer on it, I think that made me fully qualified for the job. But I'm not going to say I thrived in the position. Some would say I was a little bit disappointing. I don't know. It's you got to devote a lot of time to that sort of position, haven't you? You've got to really focus and give people your full attention, and that's not one of my strong suits. But No, I think I'm actually getting excited that it could possibly be my last day as a horse trader at Warwick Farm. So it'd be good to if I can get Gano to walk the track and you to map it and someone to. I mean, Rob can if he pots it in the yard. That's it. I'm just going to be a late scratching and go home. So
Well, I'll probably just say filthy staying race, staying out will be my comment. They all parade relaxed with good condition.
oh, thank God for that. Yeah.
Just send it, rack them, stack them, and then go bang. We've got Molly Burke. Is she booked? Bush?
Well, unless they do the usual racing manager backflip, it's at this stage here, Molly Burke to ride.
Awesome.
Great.
Up in grade, down in weight. What could possibly go wrong?
Hopefully, we get a stack of video content from that day because I really wish I could be there. That's next Wednesday, Warwick Farm. Check your form guides. Butch Bourne, David Bourne has a runner up there. Molly Burke steering. Ole Kirk, boys. Butch was very keen on him through the yearling sales this season. And very early, let's not go the early crow, but could not have started much better, Butch. Very nice work at the trials in Sydney, and then backed it up race day last Saturday.
Look, the binary and all those associated with Ole Kirk, they would be absolutely tickled pink because the Colt winning and the filly running second, it's just a dream start. It doesn't matter what, you can talk about the best stallions that have ever been. I mean, you can't get a better start than that. So, excellent. And of course, he's the son of Britain Tycoon. And you sort of get the feeling that, you look for the son that's going to carry it on. And, well, he certainly looks likely at this stage, doesn't he? I mean, they were good sorts at the sales. Everything pointed to them possibly being, good race horses. And, that's a great indicator, just that first day at the races. Terrific.
Rob, what were your takes on the 2-year-olds? Obviously, you backed both winners. Themailbag.com.au. Find Rob's Mounting Yard Mail. He'll find your winners every Metro meeting, Wednesdays, sometimes Friday nights, and Saturdays. You found both winners in the 2-year-olds. When you go back through your notes, which stallions and things like that are interesting to you moving forward? Which one stood out and why?
Well, the Ole Kirk just had a lovely attitude about it. Like the ears and eye was really bright eye. Ears were always nice and forward, and it walked with a real smoothness, or borderline panther. And I didn't realize that my nemesis was on it. The jockey, I can never find. Rachel timed it to perfection and got it home in the last stride. And it was a great result. The market hated it. He sort of went from $6 out to 11. But yeah, look, I prefer the other one though, the John Thompson, who's absolutely flying. Shout out, John. He even got Crafty Eagle to win for me yesterday. His horse just looked immaculate. It was only little, and then I looked at the form guide and it said Extreme Choice, and this is nothing new with Extreme Choice. Another one won yesterday for Chris Waller. They're always little, just about always little horses, which is I'm drawn to the bigger, stronger one. But this I think it won like it. I think it's. I heard from John yesterday he's just putting it straight out, and we won't see it until next year. But it's got everything about it to suggest it could be the champion 2-year-old. Bell something, number 3 is number to me. But it's elite, and I haven't seen that many yet, but I think that was the best one by a long way. There's a couple of $1 million horses. What do you think about running how much do they drop, Butch? If $1 million horse goes around and runs unplaced in this breeders' stakes, what are we docking the ticket? 60, 70%?
Yeah, it's look, they at any given stage that they come back, to run a PB, in a better race, then basically they're back to. But those expensive colts, they're just like buying the brand new car that you drive out as soon as you drive it out on the road. You just lose value straight away. So, and that look, it's been going on for a long time. There's an insatiable thirst to buy those horses, and lots of syndicates and money put in to sort of having a crack at them. So, but this is the greatest part about our industry, and then it's usually the more modest purchases and breeds that actually rise to the top. So that's what makes our industry so good.
How'd those 2-year-olds rate, Gano, on Saturday?
They were all right. The Feely, sorry, just young, in the middle of school holidays here, the younger she wants to get involved. The Fillies the winner of the Fillies race was slightly better than the Colts race, slightly better. Big gap to the rest, though, outside of those. So, right where they should be, mate, right where they should be. And, hey, Rob, I meant to say earlier before we segued, I owe you any flavoured vape you want moving forward, because Crafty Eagle's been a horse of mine for a while, but I needed to hear a good parade, and as soon as I got the tick, something
Thanks, mate.
Something to behold.
They're not cheap.
So
thank you, mate.
Well done. And anyone out there, honestly, like if you're listening and you're punting and you do your own numbers and you do your own form, get Rob's stuff, because all it means is if he agrees with you, you can double your bet.
Well, we've got to thank Chad Schofield a little bit too, because he found a way through. But yeah, look, it's the hardest thing about my job is with this brittle market, thanks to the taxation and people's unwillingness to bet on it. That horse went from 550 to 390 in about two minutes, which makes my job to stake the horse to win an amount very, very, very difficult. But yeah, look, one of mine, Crafty Eagle, loved John Thompson. I could see that the connections were so excited because that horse has put him through hell, and he's a talented horse. And this time of year, there was a couple of good Saturday horses running around on a Wednesday, which you get this time of year because Saturdays are impossible.
There was a bit of that yesterday, Jono, at sale with Marshall Music, $2 for split second, $1.90. Stood there for a bit. Jesus, Group 1 Gav, really flared up and called it a moral on radio a day before.
Gary, what a combo.
Yeah. Was able to wind up Gavin about that a fair bit, and I think it really affected his enjoyment of the win. I doubt that'll be happening again. Into $1.50, 8 kilos more than the second horse, and way too good, John. Probably a Saturday horse at least, you'd think. Yep.
Yeah, very exciting. Gav seems to have unlocked the key to him. So it was just a sale benchmark 64, but it got him into a nice race on Cox Plate Eve worth 150,000, restricted to trainers that have trained less than 15 Metro winners last season. So perfect race for him. I think he'll love the Valley, and looking forward to it. Benchmark 80 as well, so he'll drop in weight considerably from his benchmark 64 run. So,
and I think a testament to the whole system we've got. So he was, and Rob can talk to this, and Gano. He looked like a different horse to me in run yesterday to the horse we watched the replays of, when deciding to buy him, Rob?
100%. I was chatting to Mark Sheen about him. He's like, that hard-going thing. I'm like, I think it's a talented, hard-going thing. You'll never be able to get that thing to settle. And full credit to the system with Caroline. I think that's something to do with her as well. But that horse is now, seems tractable. It didn't go too hard. He's got terrific gate speed, so he hasn't lost any of that, that gate speed. But he seems to be settling better in his races. I think, putting jockeys like Jamie Carr on him and Blake Shin is only going to help him as well. Great hands, those two, probably the two best, just about.
And he's managed to run a career peak, only slightly off his down run there, gents, but clear career peaks and clearly best runs, 2 runs of his 15 starts. So full credit.
Yeah, he's a really, really exciting horse, I think. Particularly yesterday's track was probably a good 3 by that race, and we think he's going to be better with a bit of cut out of it. So, we'll probably look to have 1 to 2 more runs this prep, spell him, bring him back through the colder months. The racing will be slightly weaker too, but the prize money will still be grouse. So, the latest horse for us, and a really, really exciting horse. That's Marshall Music. There's also some other nice horses there yesterday. I thought that Freight Train and Mornington Pier race, it might have been race 5. I think his name's Tom Preble, Butch.
Yep.
One of the great rides. Go and watch it. He's an apprentice. He's young. He's obviously got the pedigree. The horse half slow. He could have dogged it, and he just gently pushed it into the race. Didn't rev it up, but just was positive enough and put his horse right into the spot. Then took a gap and then got the horse to accelerate whilst it didn't want to 100% go straight. I think Freight Train's above average, and I think Tom Preble is as well. That's
Tommy Preble, I'll give you something about Tommy Preble. His mum and dad rode for me. Got a time to retire, isn't it? His old man was an absolute gun. Brett Preble, very aggressive man too. I loved him. He was fantastic, and of course his mum Marie Payne, one of the great families of racing, the Paynes, and Marie was just like Tommy. She was a left-handed whip rider, and that's where he gets it from mum. And so he's bred to be a jockey, and I'd say he's trending the right way.
100%. So is Freight Train. On Saturday at Caulfield, it's one of the great days every year, each and every year. And the Caulfield Guineas is probably one of my favourite races each and every year. The past winners are outstanding. Golden Mile, Animo, Ole Kirk, who we've been talking about, Super Seth, the Autumn Sun. The list goes on. Proper horses win this race. It's incredibly relevant to the breeding industry, this race, the majority of them. I reckon me and Matty Punt's backed a horse called Little John or Long John. Might have been a gelding. It's probably the only horse that sort of won this race that hasn't gone on to be a stallion or have a start as a stallion. Who do we like on Saturday? Obviously, Broadsiding's rock solid in the market. And, anything else? Start with you, Gunner.
I'd need probably $2 to back Broadsiding just because I'm not that sick. I think the price differential between Mayfair and Broadsiding is far too significant given the margin last start. Godolphin, James Cummings do have them sometimes a little flat second up. I can't imagine it's going to be this way, but it wasn't exactly the easiest of runs of all time in the Golden Rose. It pushed the limit. So for that, I couldn't possibly chime in. Public Attention was good. It's been sort of 3 wide. Looks like a horse that will eat up the mile. It's been wide. Is lacerations at the Valley, then wide at last start. And I think Nadola was wide on debut, beating Nadola. That Nadola came out and won a few. So at a horse around like that $21, $26, you could have something very small, the win, and something pretty big. So I think you get a result out of Public Attention.
Look, it's a race that can throw a curveball. Butch will remember Marwong in '87 at 100 to 1.
Mighty Boss too.
Mighty Boss beating Kementari.
Yeah, sickest day of all time.
I remember.
What about Aberidi?
Oh, that was scary for me and John there for a second, wasn't it?
Another one, I remember it was a sad day when in Costa Lago got beat with Shane Dyer, went out in like 22 seconds the first 400. I think Alpha came home and won. So yeah, it was $1.65, got rolled. So it does happen. Caulfield's a track where you can get as to use one of Jack's terms, flushed out the back of the surf. And yeah, obviously the horse to beat, but Mayfair are only half a length off them last start. I think Mick's onto something there.
Used to be a huge thing that any horse that came from Sydney, and the most famous one was Kingston Town, he could not get around Caulfield. He was hopeless. So There's a lot. There is a little bit of history there. So you'd put an asterisk against broadsiding at Caulfield. Yeah.
Ty the Knot was another one who was. I think he won at Underwood eventually, but he had a fair few goes in Melbourne for not much good. So
generally a little bit tricky for the first timers.
Was Anamo's won, but like it wasn't a runaway win, was it? And was
it was like if D Oliver wasn't on it or Mark Zara, it wouldn't have won. And
who's a better horse, Animo or Broadsiding? Because they seem similar profiles.
Animo's shit. Oh, he's got a long way to go to get to Animo.
Yeah. So dear me.
Animo's Caulfield Guineas was like it rated through the roof.
Yeah.
What was Autumn Sun paying? $1.80 or something like that, was it?
Yeah, but he was able to be given a J-Mac Peach. He settled like in the 1-1.
Well, that's what I mean. So if you're taking $1.60, this thing's going to be last.
I think the map's a real setback for this horse. There's not a heap of pressure in this race unless gays chew each other up.
Why would they though? Like honestly,
yeah. I think the map horse with the genuine excuses last start and the Caulfield form, I'm with my man. I'm with Gunner. I think public attention at like $23 each way, small investment in a tricky race is the safest way to play this race and the smartest. I think Angel Capital will run well. I don't think it was as suited as people probably think. It was down in the inferior lanes there at Caulfield. And that's the biggest thing that you can't predict. The weather's perfect, so they're going to have to irrigate. Caulfield has raced really poorly for the last sort of 6 months. Rails and run has been like quicksand on good tracks. Like it's very, very hard to trust a bias prediction at this track at the moment. This race, you're going to get heaps of time to figure out how they're running and how they're winning. But if they overreact to the rail being really poor the last 3 or 4 meetings, and it's fast and firm, and they're running on and they're kicking on from the inside all of a sudden, which is I think favourite.
Yeah,
that again sets broadsiding back. Traditionally, over the last sort of 5 or 6 years, the rail true Caulfield's a really fair position, and everything gets their chance. But it's had that renovation, and for the last little bit, it's had a new track manager. So there's sort of 3 ways or 3 windows you could view this track through. You could go the overall look at its bias. You could look at it since it's been renovated, or you could look at it this last little bit. It's really tricky and hard to trust. And I think backing a horse that you think's going to get in the 1-1 from barrier 4 is the safest play at $21 in the Caulfield Guineas. That would be public attention, I think, by Written Tycoon.
Yeah, I think so.
So there you go. The other hot race that we'll look at Caulfield is the Toorak. The last race on the card. I love how they do this. Just to sort of stamp it into your brains. Football's over. It's now time to just eyes on ponies every Saturday. You got to watch until the end. Another Will favourite, about 280, 290. Pericles has come out. Antino's second favourite, about $5. Desert Lightning's thereabouts with Craig and a little bit longer the rest. I thought this race was a little bit simpler and probably a bit easier to bet into. Gano.
Yeah, it found it hard, to be honest. I thought Another Wheel had it on top. I thought the price was a bit rough. I had it close to sort of $4.50. If that track plays the way that you think it will, in the same way I think it will, back to the inside later in the day will be an advantage, then I think I'll probably have to make a concession and get the horse closer to sort of 350 or something. I think Another Wheel wins the race, but I'm not keen on betting at all, mate.
I like this race as a betting race. I think Another Wheel's too short, but not by too much. It could easily be sort of 360, 380 come the jump, and if it is, you got to have it on your team. I want to build a position around 3 horses, and I'll start with the horse we're not backing, but I'm scared of. Osipenko has SPs and form against proper horses, like the real good ones. Barrier 3, Uncle Chris Waller, third up. The spike's coming, and it's probably going to be here. That horse had proper ability, and I'm sure Rob Scurry, you'll confirm right now that it's a genuine Panther cracking type of horse.
Yep, lovely horse for sure.
The three I like at prices. Craig, the map's tricky, but I think he can follow the other horse I really like, Santino. Brings the grouse form. The Pride of Jenny, Mr. Brightside form. That's the best form in Australia, and it's got it. It's got Blake Shin, barrier 8. There's not a heap of speed here. He can land closer than everyone will anticipate. And the best roughie all day at Caulfield, I think, is the 5, Light Infantryman. Light Infantryman started, was $11 in a 650 last start versus another Will. And I was actually going to ask, like, Gano or whoever, why in the fuck is it $61 here? What have I missed? There's no weight swing. It's got barrier 5.
It's a good question.
The losers Zara and Cops John Allen, but that doesn't mean it should go from like 650 to 61.
And generally, that doesn't really happen. Like that adjustment's probably made later in the market as well.
That was first up, last start. Like you'd think 400 meters is probably short of this horse's best. I don't know. I just think it's a huge price. It's going to get a great run. They're the three I like: Craig, Antino, and Light Infantryman. John, you got anything?
I was sort of, as I do, I went looking for the New Zealand horses. I've always been sort of against Desert Lightning, probably still will be. Orchestral had a big weight first up in New Zealand and ran okay, but can't imagine she was real tuned up for that. I think Antino, he comes out of the best races. Blake Shin riding incredibly well, and he was.
You scroll back far enough, John. Too, you got a bit of Just Folk form in there too, which is always a good thing.
Exactly. And he was at this race that Antino narrowly missed to the green and blue thing.
Attrition.
Yeah,
last year. God bless it. Back to Trition. Didn't back Antino. Trition was like $21 shots. Mitchy Friedman, Bowie Mertens, first ever Group 1s, I think, for both of them. Tears, joy.
I think, yeah, I mean, it's his first sort of in his last few runs, getting away from the real top level. So, yeah, I'll be with Antino.
I think you're overthinking it. I think Another Will is the most progressive horse in Australia, and it will be winning this race comfortably. Is
that a G. Bidgood moral?
Oh, look, it's hard to say moral. It can be a bit flighty, but from reading Pistol Pete's messages, it seems to be parading more and more professionally every start. I just love the way it moves. This horse has got like one of those strides that don't look like it's going that fast, but then when you look at the sectionals, it's going incredibly fast.
Last 7 starts, Another Will's had one key thing on that it doesn't have on Saturday.
J. Carr.
A very valuable piece of gear, J. Carr.
That's true. Who's replacing it?
First up, 245 out to 350. Spat out by the market. Last start, $1.45 out to $1.65. Spat out by the market.
Almost put through the fence.
That's the grey up for me.
Who would have thought? Who would have thought back in the day when Marie Payne won the Evoca Cup on Tiffany's Best, that they couldn't wait to send it to B and Coney to breed something out of it. And then after that particular foal won the 1,800 metre maiden at Kyneton, they got that excited. They said, let's send it to Street Boss and breed a bloody Toorak handicap winner. And there's Another Will. So this is what I love about the industry, you know.
Full circle.
Full circle. So Another Will comes from a long line of Kyneton maiden winners and Evoca Cup winners. So, but as Rob said, he'll probably just win the Toorak handicap. So Jono's, he's gone parochial. Look at him.
I don't. Sorry, Butch. I don't mind that orchestral. She's a lovely type of filly as well, Jono. So yeah, if you need a, don't let, maybe mental health bet, as I said, on orchestral.
You got a Kiwi jockey on Another Will too for you there, John. If you want to jump.
Yeah, right. I do like McD, but Barrier won that horse, and Mick D just it almost got
With the
put
way
for
the rail's been at Caulfield, you just got to be really careful about falling into them on a Thursday. The inside draws, you just can't responsibly back a horse that's drawn 1 to 2 to 3 at Caulfield at the moment. It's dumb. The hole in the market, I thought's Asilfina. Really nice horse.
WA.
Proper upside, but completely blessed in run last start, and the time wasn't outstanding. And this is a big, big step up.
And does Brightside just win the might and power? Second favourite at Tissue. She's a Flemington horse through and through, isn't she?
Tell you what the play here is, Butch. Get on the phone to your man JD and say, scratch, go to Sydney. They're going to get 20 mils of rain on Friday and run in that $5 million race because it will win that. And forget your Cox Plate plans. Just take your money.
Where were we scratching?
Brightside.
From this Saturday, we're going to send him to Randwick.
Okay.
The king, whoever the king is, the third.
Might run to Nuster in that then.
And it's
a guaranteed 600,000 for them on Saturday, isn't it?
Place.
I think he's vulnerable on Saturday.
Well,
heavy track. Just give it a week and you'll win. Fangirl won't run if it's a heavy track. Brit Pride Jenny, millions.
Yeah, third world problems. You run for 1 million or 5 million, isn't it? It's yeah. Look, he's a terrific miler, Mick, and I think everyone knows that. So every time you run at 2,000 meters, you just hope for the map and the all that goes with it, don't you? Whereas at 1,600 meters, his record's phenomenal, isn't it? I mean.
And Fangirl can only beat him on a good 4 or soft 5. Anything worse, it's
maybe go the quick backup off a brutal run in the Fiend. This is going to be brutal, I think. There'll be good tempo here, even though there's a small field. The Nine Knowledge was slaughtered last start. Zara has to go handlebars down, sort of like he did on Duke de Sessa last time he rode it at Caulfield. Jenny Lala will go across with him. I think there's good pressure. Brightside gets complete PR again, drawn 1, and he's got enough speed early to get off the fence if it's Cactus. I think it's not going to be wet enough for a Tissue to feature, and I think he's short enough. I think the horse that's like genuine value and the only way to play the race is Coco Sun, the 8 for Blake Shin, and Tony and Calvin McAvoy. Barrier 2, Blake Shin, going to sit off him. He'll either tag Brightside or sit outside it if it pings. And I think it's the only horse there that's got a bit of scope about it, like to use a racing term that Rob loves. This horse has a bit of genuine scope and finds a winnable race. I think it's really well placed and gets a great run.
You talk about Brightside being a miler, but like he probably thinks he's won the Cox Plate.
Yeah. Good point.
Thanks for bringing that up.
I was on Romantic Warrior, so that's why.
Yeah. J-Mac giving it to me again.
I think that goes back to what we said before, Jono, because the way the race was set up and the tempo and the sit sprint, it suited him that day. And yes, he nearly won, but he didn't win. And is he going to get that set up every time he runs at 2,000 meters? I'm just with Gano there on the, at 1,600 meters, no brainer.
I'd back him up.
Have we touched on mental health runs of Order to Charge and Fumico in this podcast yet, or was I missing for those?
That would have been a good way to bring in the mental health officer part that I wanted to cover.
You can talk us through it, Mick, and then Butch can sort of calm you down.
Let's hang on,
so let's do it. So imagine I've just opened the door.
You're lying down on the couch, Mick.
Mick's walked in. Butch, you say, "Hi, Michael. Welcome. Please make yourself comfortable. Have a seat on the chair. Tell me what's been happening. Take it away, Mick."
And hang on. I've just taken my trousers off. Hang on. Where do you want me to put these? Mick says just on the couch next to mine. and away we go. No. So, Mick, what are we talking about? Which horse? Order to charge.
And Fumico.
Ordered a charge first up, well, not first up, 5-week fresh, and went down to the beach, had a bit of a spell, comes back, just a lonely little benchmark 58. Jono and Jack chose his horse up with Beery and managed to get beaten a nostril. So full credit there, lads. Horse is going well. It'll win, but Fumico, wowee, she's flying. Was up at Newcastle there, Rob. The old man found her.
Yeah, he found it. Yeah, he did. He was keen on the 7, really keen. He was even spying the connections down at the tie-up stalls. He said this is close to a tie-up stall tips. He reckons they were pretty excited about it. And I thought Blake, if he just stays behind the favourite it wins. But he kind of looks for the inside, then he looks for the outside. But hindsight's a great thing. Sometimes the favourite doesn't kick.
He mentioned yeah, that's true. He mentioned in his post race that she copped a little bump and changed strides and a little bit iffy there. But hey, she'll go around in a couple of weeks, lads. Mailbag, Bloodstock firing on all cylinders. I got a couple of tips for you for the weekend. You ready?
I got my pen out.
Pens. You've had your pen out the whole podcast, Butch. Righto. We'll go to Rose Hill, Alabama State in the first. Looking for Rob's tick, the 16. It'll win this. Race 5, the 2, Switzerland. I think he'll bounce back with Nash on. I don't think they'll slaughter it this time around. A no to a win. Back to a dry, as long as it's a dry track. Soft 5, no good. Good 4 or better wins. And Kovaloika. I can't believe the price they're betting this. The difference between it and Royal Patronage is 6/8 of stuff all. Probably beats at home last start. Does Kovalica, meets it half a kilo worse, but gets a much, much better map. And you could probably chop out Royal Patronage, but Kovalica is a bet. There you go.
There we go.
Jack. Come on, Jack.
What are they, boys?
What were you doing? Changing hats?
Same, Matt. Thank you, Jimbo. Kept it on the whole show. That's been Just a Walk. Thanks, episode 15. Is that right?
Yep.
Hey, listen, before we go, we'll chop that bit out if you want. Sorry, John. I do that to you all the time. Can we just touch on David Eustace training his first winner in Hong Kong?
Yeah. Good call.
Can we do that?
Yeah. Before we go, our man David Eustace of Kieran Ma, David Eustace fame, headed to Hong Kong and he got his first winner away last night, overnight, Butch.
He did. Zach Burton. Now this is a horse that Dougie White trained last season, and David Eustace has been extremely patient. He's given it 3 trials, got Zach Burton on it, and I think its last 4 runs it was $20 plus, and I think it went round at a very, very short quote to get the money last night. So I'd say a little bit expected and a great result for Dave Eustace.
Full credit to David and onwards and upwards for him. Hey, that's been Just a Walk. Thanks, episode 15. Hope you enjoyed the show. Gamble responsibly, 1-800-858-858, or visit the website if you want to get involved in our Phillies pack or buy into one of our 2-year-olds this week. So take 5% or 2.5% in one of the Phillies or 1.25 in all 4. We will gift you a share in either of these horses. Pesto, Rip Roar, Danistar, Cruise Missile, Poland, or the Genius. If you want to get involved, I'll gift you a share in those horses and you can come racing with us. Cruise Missile heads to Oaks Day, $500,000 race. The Genius heads to Maui next Friday. Rip Roar and Poland aren't too far away. Pesto next Wednesday at Caulfield. Plenty of action. If you want to get involved, we'd love to have you. If you're interested, Jono, JONO, at themailbag.com.au. Hope you enjoyed the show and hope you win on the weekend. Bye for now.